bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. Tonight there is controversy brewing in the West as a local fisherman is calling for the authorities to address a disturbing issue that is now becoming a trend. Joan Davis Rolle explains.
For bone fisherman Tommy Foley Rolle, son of the late legendary Israel Bonefish Foley Rolle, there are mounting concerns among some fishermen regarding the fishing village of West End. Rolle is speaking out about a vexing problem which he believes threatens the survival of that area's vital fishing industry.
Right now, we have a serious problem in the western area about the guys netting the snappers. It seems like it's an outlaw area now. There's no one's having respect for the marine life, and we have 10, 12, 14 boats each day going out and harvesting 500 to 1,000, 1,500 pounds of snappers, and we need someone to come in and do something about it because it's out of control.
Rolle says it is unfortunate that some fishermen are not concerned about preserving the fishing grounds for generations unborn. He says for the majority of fishermen using nets, it's not about survival.
No, I think it's all about greed right now. These guys are going out and they know they can get 5 to 1,000 pounds of fish. It has nothing to do about trying to make a living. It has something to do about how much money they can make each day. And it's sad because this is a fishing community. Most of the guys here rely on going out and hand lining to make a living, and no one is here to enforce the law. We have foreigners come in, talk about protecting the sharks, talk about protecting the turtles, and us as Bahamians, we can't be heard.
While Rolle is appealing for government intervention, local fisheries officer Clement Campbell says once proper fishing guidelines are followed, net fishermen are within the law.
On this particular issue, it's a touchy one. I have a lot of complaints, direct, one-on-one with fishermen down here, and also from casual fishermen, weekend fishermen, who goes out and they claims that they can't catch no fish because the water's being depleted of the area that they go into fishermen. The person that's hauling fish by net, they are within their rights. There's no restrictions on hauling fish by net, except the size of the net and the zone, the distance from mainland to where they haul fish. What one of my concern is for the netting is, I think it should be like seasonal. I don't think that they should be able to haul fish all year round. I think there should be like a certain month period time instead of like January, February, March, all year round hauling. Should be a mandate on that.
Tommy, in the spirit of his late father, has vowed to intensify his campaign against net fishing until his voice is heard and something is done by the powers that be. Joan Davis Rolle, ZNS Network News.
Well, as Grand Bahama Island fights to regain the magic, many businesses on the island are struggling to stay afloat. In recent times, many companies have grabbed headlines, having been placed in receivership. Tonight, a local attorney explains this process and its impact on the business community. While the island of Grand Bahama continues to suffer the effects of an economic downturn, many businesses here on the island are also facing serious problems. Some are unable to pay their debts and have been placed in receivership by their creditors. Attorney at law Constance McDonald explains this process.
Normally, when a company is unable to pay its debts, there are several options a person has. They can go to court and have a receiver appointed. What the receiver would do is go into the business and collect, also, first of all, do a report and collect funds to pay off the debt. Now, a receiver can be appointed under the Companies Act. It can be appointed by a mortgagee. So, for example, if a bank has a loan with a business, usually in the mortgage document itself, it would give the bank the power to have a receiver appointed.
The process of receivership has affected major companies on Grand Bahama, like Butler's Specialty Food Store, where the owner, Jeff Butler, says his landlord owed him more than he owed the landlord. But McDonald says in most cases, the process is a depiction of Grand Bahama's sluggish economy.
It shows what's happening in Grand Bahama, because in Grand Bahama now, things are very, I would say that Grand Bahama right now is economically challenged. You have a lot of persons in business, and the businesses aren't necessarily making the money to pay the debts. And so the creditors are, they want their money. They're not concerned about the fact that you may not have the money to pay the debt. They want their money. And so they will take you, if they make a demand for their money and you don't pay, they take you to court and they can get a receiver appointed. You see, because sometimes it is that people don't really believe that you can afford to pay.
She says this process can be seen on Grand Bahama more than any other island, and she's giving this advice to business owners.
NASA is not as economically challenged as Grand Bahama. And then too, what happens sometimes too is that people, even though, I always say to persons, when you're having a problem paying your bills, pay a little something every time. You see, because even if you go to court, if someone gets a judgment against you and you go to court and you're making an effort to pay, it shows that at least you're trying, you're challenged, but you're making an effort.
As Grand Bahama continues to grapple with the sluggish economy, a local pastor is giving advice to help empower those who are feeling defeated. Sabrina Brown reports.
As the country looks forward to an economic turnaround, there are many who are still unemployed and feeling a sense of hopelessness. Pastor of Central Zion Baptist Church, Reverend Elvis Burrows, has a word of encouragement for those experiencing economic hardship.
For someone who wants to work and can't find a job that suits his or her skills, that's discouraging, that is depressing. But I want to say to that person, and I want to borrow a quote from Dr. Robert Schuller, who said many years ago, and I have internalized that principle he espoused. He said, tough times never last. Tough people do. And that's true.
The religious leader says the Bahamas has been through challenging times before, and he believes Bahamians are a resilient people.
When times are hard and our backs are against the wall, that tends to bring out the best in some of us, because it now enables us to look within and to draw on the resources and the skills and the talents and the gifts and the education that we have in us, and to put that to work for ourselves.
Burrows is encouraging those who may be finding it hard to secure a job to take a leap of faith and create work for themselves. He gave an example of when one of his sons came home from college and could not find a job.
He came back with a degree in computer information systems, which I thought would have landed him a good paying job. He could not find a job. And I said to him one day, look, put an ad in the paper and see if someone wants a computer repaired. He learned how to repair computers. And he did that, and he got a few calls. Now today, if you were to go downtown, there's a business called Computer Kingdom, where after 2 years, 3 years, he has expanded his business.
Pastor Burrows says in all things we must put God first.
Look to God for direction, look to God for wisdom, let God direct you, and I can assure you, this too will come to pass. It will not last forever.
Sabrina Brown, ZNS Network News.
And I want a piece of cake. And a special hello to Philip Marsh, one of the best cameramen here in the North. And that's going to do it on behalf of our entire ZNS News team.
I have to say I'm Quincy Gordon and I'm Megan Shepherd.
I'm Shasheena Rolle. Have a great evening, everyone.